Girls of Reddit, what makes a guy creepy? When they don't take no for an answer. Actually had a guy say I don't take no for an answer to me after I told him I didn't want to go on a date with him. I walked away from him and back to my office. This was in a college campus building. Had a horrible feeling the rest of the day. Fast forward to quitting time and I have to walk half a mile to the parking garage. I see a co-worker about to head that way and asked if he didn't mind walking with me. Turns out the student followed us there and tried to get into my car when I unlocked it. Thank God I had my co-worker with me who scared him away. Edit. Yes, the campus police were involved and the student was identified. He was banned from the building I worked in. Turns out 2 other girls had filed complaints about him as well. He followed one poor girl to her dorm apparently. I honestly do not know what happened to him. I never saw him again. So fucking glad you had someone with you. That could have ended badly and I'm glad you're safe. Damn, that is creepy as fuck. When guys try to separate you from your friends. Like you're in a group and a guy suddenly pushes his way in and blocks you off. I once experienced a wall of men. One guy at the bar started chatting with me and when I looked around I realized that all his buddies had blocked us in. Facing away into the crowd. After 20 minutes of small talk the guy asked if I wanted to get out and I said yes. He tapped one of his buddies on the shoulder and he let me get past him. I'm 5 feet 2 inches and they were all 6 feet. When I finally found my friends they said they had all done a lap around the bar looking for me. But of course I was behind the wall of men. Don't do that. How the fuck is that a good idea in anyone's mind? Much less in the mind of more than just one person, because of the implication. No self-awareness or notion of personal boundaries, like when guys follow you around public places or follow you home intentionally and don't seem to understand what's really unsettling about that. I don't know if it's because I live in a big city, but this is surprisingly common. I had a friend do that to me. We'd hung out and were walking home and when it came time for us to part ways, we said goodbye but he continued to walk with me. He did this until we got to my apartment. We'd said goodbye to each other like 3 times. It would have been one thing if he'd offered to walk me home, then I'd understand it, but it was just fucking creepy. This is why my dad sent me a stun gun in college. Creepy dude followed me back to my dorm after each class. Soon got 3 of my guy friends to walk me home like a small fleet of bodyguards. We had a paid group of people on campus that would walk you home at night. The safety patrol you could call and get your own pair of people to help you stay safe. It was actually really nice to know I was never stuck out alone at night. Telling me personal things about myself. I had a guy at my old job mention that I took a different route to work one morning. Then he said a mix of letters and numbers. When I asked what that meant, he said that's your license plate, right? Another time he was standing behind me at the time clock and said my clock in code before I entered it. Also he cornered me in a room and tried to kiss me. It was so awkward because his wife was my supervisor and I was his superior. I was a nurse and he was the CNA. On top of that I was a new nurse and not at all comfortable in my role yet. I ended up telling my co-workers to keep us apart and make sure he didn't follow me into rooms after that last part. Very creepy. Yo, that sounds like a restraining order. In retrospect, yes. When they consistently ask you out after about 3 times it gets excessive and creepy, plus if they try to contact you through more than 2 platforms then it's creepy as well. Guy here. I only ask girls out twice. The second time only happens when she don't have time the first time. After that I am a ghost. My husband asked me out once. I asked him to take me home early as I had food poisoning. He assumed I was really not interested and backed way off. It was quite possibly one of the hottest things anyone has ever done for me. He respected a perceived rejection. It wasn't standing on my front porch for hours to surprise me when I finally left. Creepy. Or tracking my class schedule to leave surprises. Creepy. Or contacting my parents to request an arranged marriage. Creepy. It definitely wasn't asking over and over until I got the police involved. Which are all things various men have thought would be romantic. Seeing that he backed off and was respectful, I simply had to ask him out and keep taking him out until he figured out I wasn't asking him as a friend and finally kissed me sometime after our 4th date. Respect is very attractive. When they only talk about sex or make every exchange about sex. Having sex is not a personality trait. What about if I talk about barbecue a lot? I really like barbecue. Blocking exits. Please leave me a path to get away from you if I want to. This is a big one not a lot of guys seem to understand. If you're standing in front of my only way out, I'm gonna panic and I no longer give a shit if I'm into you. That ship sailed when you penned me into the bar. I also hate when you try to move past dudes and they move into your way to like stop you. I'm leaving for a reason. This was recently something I noticed happening to my work partner. We work in duos. By one of our delivery drivers. He would always block her path, aggressively flirt, even sometimes come up behind her and whisper comments into her ear. She's a little 4 feet 9 inches Puerto Rican woman, and she's feisty, and I asked her if she wanted me to do something about it. I never just do it, as I don't want to put the woman in an uncomfortable position. I let people fight their own battles unless they ask me for help. She said no and that if he did it again she'd snap on his ass. Just last week he came up to her and said what's up bad bitch and it was like Krakatoa exploding. She went fucking in. I've never seen a man's ego destroyed so heartily, so quickly. She then told HR. They pulled cameras and he got let go that day. LOL, I was proud of my little homie. Repeatedly trying to pursue you after you've told them you're not interested. My friend in uni was harassed stalked by a guy like that for months. Uni was taking too long so we took matters into our own hands, collecting evidence of stalking etc, collaborating with the police etc. Eventually he violated the restraining order. My friend got arrested, was in jail for 2 days. His parents bailed him out ASAP, went on trial and currently is on probation. Guy, go out with me. Nah, no thanks. I'm married guy. So, by far one of my least favorite interactions. Also staring. Uninterrupted staring. It's worse if they don't even come talk to you. Makes me scared they're just going to follow me. Edit. Yes, I know some people zone out and stare unintentionally. For me, it's pretty easy to tell the difference, and I move around some to see if their eyes are following. If they are staring. If not, they're zoning. I hate this. I've had one guy, just one, react appropriately to this. First he said excuse me, but I have to ask, do you have a man? When I said yes that I was happily married with kids he said oh okay, honey, I just had to ask, and left it at that. Some inappropriate ones. Happily, so and so, when are we going to dinner? My favorite response so far was, well, damn it, give him a high five from me. And he better treat you right thanks. Random man at the bar. I hope you find someone too. Constant, uninterrupted staring. Or when they get way too close to you when talking and kinda hover over top of you. Edit. I do not mean accidental eye contact. Eye contact when speaking or passive looking. When you're daydreaming and don't actually perceive anything. I mean direct staring. Definitely. There's a guy at work that I catch staring at me at least once every day. It's creepy. I try not to be alone in the same room with him. I won't walk out to my car alone. When a guy won't give you your space even when you implicitly or explicitly make it clear that you want your space. Without giving too many details. When I was younger, this sweet guy became creepy to me because he wouldn't leave me alone even when I said I wanted time to myself. If they can't respect your boundaries, get out and fast. Edit. For context this happened when we were kids, but it still applies. I told the guy outright to leave me alone. At first saying I want to be alone for now. Eventually, I told him to just leave me alone outright, and it took more dodging on my part for him to get the message. I get he was a lonely kid but this made him go from sweet but lonely kid to kid I was trying to avoid. Had a guy much taller than me get really tower over me in a gas station, telling me I had a nice nose. Tried to back away but he couldn't, or wouldn't, take the hint, and had me backed up against a wall. He had me almost behind the counter before the employee and another customer got between us. Fellas, if a girl is trying to walk away from you, let her, and by all means don't corner her. Thank you for watching and listening to my channel. Feel free to drop a comment and be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification button for the latest video I publish every day. See you on the next video, very Reddit fans.